You know that feeling, right? Where you're just constantly putting out fires, totally running on empty, just trying to make it through the day? Well, what if you could actually shift from that drained, reactive state to one of intentional, energized growth? Today, we're going to break down a really practical framework to do just that.
So let's just get right to the heart of it. Ask yourself this question and be really honest. Right now, in your life, are you just surviving or are you truly growing? Your answer to that question, well, it reveals so much about what your day-to-day life actually feels like.
And this slide, it lays out those two states perfectly. Over on the left, you've got survival mode. That's when you feel reactive, drained, and just overwhelmed. But on the right, that's the goal, intentional growth. That feels proactive, energized, and focused. So the big question is, how do we bridge that gap? How do we get from one side to the other?
The key is this concept called generating energy. Now, this isn't about some magic pill or just trying to hustle harder. It's a practice. It's about intentionally building a stable foundation of your personal resources, your time, your mental clarity, your physical well-being, so you have everything you need to make that crucial shift.
So where do we even begin? Well, the framework is built on 3 core freedoms, and the very first one is all about your time. Before you can do anything else, you have to protect it. This is the bedrock, right? Creating space and getting yourself grounded.
And the core principle here is so simple, but it's incredibly profound. Energy must be protected before growth can occur. I mean, think about it. You can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. You have to protect what you have before you can even think about expanding.
Okay, so how do we actually protect our time? The framework gives us 3 really practical steps. First, you separate. That means creating clear, non-negotiable boundaries between your work, your relationships, and your own personal time to recharge. Second, find quiet. Actively seek it out, go for a walk, whatever it takes, just to interrupt the constant noise. And third, practice grounding. Use some simple techniques to stabilize your energy and finally break that chaotic survival cycle.
All right, so once you created a little bit of breathing room, you can move on to the second freedom, clarifying your mind. And this is all about cutting through the mental fog, not by overthinking things, but by learning how to just be present.
Now, this might be the most counterintuitive but powerful idea in this entire framework. We always think we need to speed up to solve our problems, right? But real, genuine clarity actually increases when you slow down. When you stop trying to overthink everything and just become present in the moment, all that noise starts to fade, and the important stuff gets a whole lot clearer.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, it starts with managing your expectations of yourself and of other people. It's about learning to hit the reset button on those negative stories we tell ourselves. It's about trusting that if you can just be still for a moment, the clarity you're looking for will show up. All of this helps you regulate your emotions and, bit by bit, build this deep, profound sense of self-trust.
Okay, so you've protected your time, you've cleared your mind, now you are finally ready for the third freedom, building your energy. This is where you start to create real, sustainable momentum, and you do it with small, consistent wins.
But when you're feeling completely drained, how in the world do you build unstoppable momentum? The answer is so much simpler than you think. It actually all comes down to a single number.
Free. That's it. 3 daily wins. It's not about making some huge, giant leap. It's about taking just a moment every single day to recognize 3 things you did well. This simple little act starts to rebuild trust with yourself. It gives you tangible proof that you're moving forward. And that proof, well, that's the fuel for real momentum.
So the habits for building momentum are refreshingly simple. First, track your wins. Get a notebook, use an app, whatever. Just write down those 3 wins every day. Second, improve your sleep. Seriously, prioritize it for your mental and physical recovery. And third, reduce things that drain you, like alcohol. The magic isn't in how complicated these habits are, but in the incredible power of just doing them consistently.
And all of this, all 3 of these freedoms, leads us to the single most important principle in this entire framework. And it's a sequence. First, you stabilize. Then, and only then, you can truly grow. When you're trying to shift out of survival mode, the goal is not to immediately hit the gas pedal. It's about stabilization, it's about clarity that comes from being present, and it's about consistency. The speed, the acceleration, that comes later, all by itself, once you've built that solid base to launch from.
So here it is, the entire framework at a glance. You start with time freedom, and the goal there is to protect your energy. Then you move to mind freedom to find clarity. And finally, you build energy freedom to create real momentum. You see how each step just builds on the last?
Because ultimately, that's what it's all about. Lasting, sustainable performance, it doesn't come from burnout. It emerges from the stable foundation that you intentionally build for yourself day by day.
So I'll leave you with a question to reflect on. Looking at these three areas, time, mind, and energy, which freedom are you going to focus on building first?